I am so excited about talking about the discipleship ministry of the church, primarily because I'm deeply persuaded that discipleship is not an aspect of the ministry of the church. It is the ministry of the church. It is what God's called the church of Jesus Christ to do, to disciple people so that they become part of what God intends to do on earth. And if you're committed to discipleship, then there's three questions that every discipler should ask. The first one is this. These are really universal questions. It is, why do people do the things they do? We've all asked that question, seeing the choices, decisions, actions that people make. What motivates people to act, to speak, to function, to react, to respond the way they do? Why do people do the things they do? The second question is, how does lasting change take place in a person's life? If you see a person doing something immature or inappropriate or wrong or unbiblical or unhealthy or destructive, and you love them, then you're going to want to be a tool of change. You're going to want to see change take place. And so one of the deep, important questions of discipleship is, how does change take place in a person's life? What does change look like? What is the process of change? And then the third question is, how can I be a tool of change in God's hands in the life of someone else? Discipleship is not just about acquiring knowledge or understanding ministry. Discipleship is really about personal heart and life change. Why do people do the things they do? How does change take place in a person's life? And how can I be a tool, an instrument of that kind of change? Well, I want to take you to a passage that I think is one of the more important physical word pictures that Christ uses that really does begin to answer these three foundational discipleship questions. This is Luke 6, beginning with verse 43. For no good tree bears bad fruit, nor again does a bad tree bear good fruit, for each tree is known by its own fruit. For figs are not gathered from thorn bushes, nor are grapes picked from a bramble bush. The good person out of the good treasure of his heart produces good, and the evil person out of the evil treasure produces evil. For out of the abundance of his heart the mouth speaks. Now, Jesus is saying something here very radical that I don't think anybody believes. And it's this, that my words and my behavior, your words and your behavior, the words and behavior of anybody that you're ministering to are more formed, shaped, directed by what's inside of them than what's outside of them. If a little boy has just pushed his sister and she's fallen down and she's crying, and mom says to him, "Why did you do that?" That little boy's not going to talk about himself. He's going to talk about his sister because he doesn't actually believe that whatever he's done is caused by what's inside of him. He thinks it's caused by what's outside of him. If you're counseling a couple that has a bad marriage and you ask the husband what's wrong with his marriage, guess who he's going to talk about? He's not going to talk about himself. He's going to talk about his wife. And so if you begin to actually believe that what you do is not really formed by what's inside of you, but what's outside of you, you're not really interested in personal change. I am deeply persuaded that thousands and thousands of people who actually need discipleship don't think they need it because they don't think they're actually responsible for the things they say and do, because they don't understand what Christ is saying. Now, here's what Jesus is saying. He's saying that we live out of the heart, that my words and my behavior are shaped, caused by what's inside my heart. If you want to know what heart means, well, the Bible basically divides us into two pieces, our inner man and our outer man. The outer man is our physical self. The inner man, the Bible uses many terms for: mind, emotion, spirit, soul, will, and they're all connected by one big basket term, this term heart. If you want to know what the Bible means when it uses the word heart, here's what it means. The heart is the causal core of your personhood. Here's what this means. That the most dangerous thing in my life exists inside of me, not outside of me. That where change actually needs to take place is inside of me, not outside of me, in the heart. And so discipleship ministry is always directed not just at the mind, not just at behavior, but directed at the heart. Because if the heart doesn't change, behavior won't change for very long. Jesus came to give us a new heart. He came to create heart change. And what I want to do as I talk in many ways and at many levels about the discipleship ministry of the church is introduce to you a model that goes after heart change. It's what I call a love, know, speak, do model. Love is building a relationship with a person that becomes a workroom for change. Know is getting beyond the casual to really know this person, and knowing this person means knowing them at the level of the heart. Speak has to do with helping this person to understand where change is needed, and do has to do with applying that change to everyday life. Jesus came to transform us. He came to radically change the thoughts and desires and the motives of our heart. And He's given us every grace we need for heart change. And when a person's heart changes, then their thoughts change, their desires change, their motives change, their actions change, their words change, and their life changes. Discipleship is about heart change. And because of that, we want to love people. We want to know them. We want to speak truth to them. And we want to motivate them to live in a brand new way.